Hey everyone, Steven here from Level 1 Sword. I am really looking forward to this one since it deals with one of my favorite games of all time, easily in my top 10. And while the Joy-Cons are certainly not the best controller option out there, I'm still so pumped to play this game handheld. Leave a comment to let me know your take, and also please leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And with all that nonsense out of the way, I've been waiting for this day to arrive for several years now. Early on in the 3DS's lifespan, we got a serviceable Resident Evil game in Resident Evil Revelations, which did go on to be ported and remastered on the PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and the Switch. This game nailed it in the atmosphere department, a derelict cruise ship stalled out in the ocean. The fact that it remains graphically one of the most impressive 3DS games to date, even though it was released early on in the handheld's lifecycle, left me with a lot of hope that maybe, just maybe, the wizards at Capcom would be able to port Resident Evil 4 to the 3DS. If I'm being honest, if they had ported it to the Vita, I would have bought that system brand new day one just to play a portable version of one of my favorite games of all time. And here we are at last with the Switch version of Resident Evil 4. It's currently going for $30 on the Nintendo eShop. No physical version is available, I'm afraid, but I'll take it. And a surprising number of reviewers on YouTube are lambasting this version of the game. When I first saw all the negative thumbnails, I thought they must have really botched the Switch version for people to be saying things like, "Don't buy this game," and "I'm disappointed in the Switch edition." But once I delved into these videos, I couldn't help but think they have got to be kidding with these complaints. Before I get into those, I'll admit there are some legitimate issues to be found. The sound and aiming glitches from the previous PS4 and Xbox One versions are still present, which I do find that kind of lazy to not have been patched out by now. But many of the complaints center around missing options. Apparently the Steam version of the game allowed you to change out character models and the HD textures out for the old ones, I guess? Oh, and for some reason people were expecting the Wii controls to be ported to this version on the Switch, but I for one was never expecting those. Look, I know a lot of people think porting an already existing game takes next to no effort on the part of the developer, and therefore adding motion controls should be a breeze, but that's not based on any actual facts. While the Switch is a relatively easy system to port to, that doesn't mean it doesn't require hundreds of man-hours of coding and testing to make it work. There are no shortcuts or magic wands for this sort of thing in the video game industry. The other main complaint I'm seeing is it's too expensive, especially when you compare it to the other comparable versions on the PS4 and Xbox One. This is the reason why folks were expecting those extra PC options and/or the Wii motion controls. Let me offer a couple of counter-arguments here. Number one, the Nintendo Switch tax. Like it or not, Nintendo charges more than Sony and Microsoft to have games on their system. I don't care for it myself, but it's not anything that Capcom has any control over. Yeah, it can be fun to rant and moan and whine about pricing in video games in the information age, but please make sure you are informed with actual information before you rake a company over the coals for something unless you are sure they dictate the pricing. Could Capcom sell it for $20 and take the hit? Sure, but why should they? See my earlier point about it still taking a serious effort to make a port, and this also leads to my next point. 2. The game is worth it. Am I happy that I only paid $20 for my brand new PS4 edition of Resident Evil 4? Sure I am. Would I have gladly paid more? Yeah, I would have. You are getting so much value with this game, especially when you compare it to modern releases. You're getting a 15 to 20 hour long campaign, complete with optional side objectives. A 3 to 5 hour side campaign with added difficulty. The Mercenaries mode. Tons of unlockable extra weapons and outfits that would be DLC these days, and I could mention even more extras. It also runs just as well as the other most recent HD versions, 1080p, 60 frames per second, something the PS3 and 360 versions couldn't even do. I haven't even mentioned that the game is now available on a portable system for the first time ever. I'd argue that's worth the extra $10 alone, but no, we have to complain that the Wii controls, which made the game far too easy according to some, are missing. I wish I had these people's problems. To wrap this up, I don't think I could disagree more with these reviewers who expected Capcom to make this the ultimate final version you would ever need for Resident Evil 4. The game is fine as it is. You can play it the classic way with a GameCube controller since the Switch supports it natively along with the handheld mode, and amazing games hold their value over the years. If you really want to play with motion controls, then sacrifice the HD visuals and buttery 60 FPS smoothness and play the Wii version. The rest of us will happily enjoy our commutes with a portable version of one of the best games ever made.